Hello, I'm Eric, and today we're going to talk about social reform and workers' rights from the 1830s to the 1860s. Early 19th century was an era for reform. Society changes drastically with the Industrial Revolution, immigration, and conflicts about freedom. This brings many problems waiting to be resolved. In some cases, government did provide some solutions, but in most cases, it is the common people that stand up to try to find solutions for these problems in their very own different ways. These solutions brought the age of reform from the 1830s to the 1860s, where many reforms made at this age eventually changed society as a whole. There are reform on many different aspects at this age. This is due to how people think people in this age are sinful and lives without moral. A rising political star with a promising future gives us chances to become a significant political figure and became the secretary of the Massachusetts Board of Education. He lays out an ambitious agenda for education in the U.S., stating that he wants education to be compulsory in the U.S. with assistance of the public that spread morals and ideas of freedom and equality of rights to kids through a less stricter educating method without political and religious bias delivered by well-trained and professional teachers. Northern and Western states soon followed man's model and ideals for education. This gives many people without a wealthy background to break out from poverty and spurs the development of human knowledge and technology. Man continued advocating for equal education and opportunity for African Americans before he died. There was the Second Great Awakening movement, a Protestant movement led by Charles Grandison Finney that revives Christianity in America. The movement attracted many people due to how evangelical ministers of the movement was able to connect emotionally with large crowds. The movement believed that humans can save themselves through the salvation of God and supported more rights for women and slaves, a strong middle-class working spirit, frugality, and a temperance movement. As a result, this movement also had a significant participation of African Americans and women than previous religious movements. These early ideas encouraged movements advocating for equality and give people in the society a faith and hope. However, the religious movements also brought the temperance movement, which is a movement to ban alcohol. In the early 19th century, many men were consuming a huge amount of alcohol unhealthily. With all the unhealthy drinking of men, problems such as unreliability of social workforce, men wasting money on alcohol, and men giving into violence with intoxication. This, with the Protestant belief drinking is sinful, led to the temperance movement. Many women, with the will to protect themselves and their children in a society that has few laws to protect them from men, joined the movement to stop men from drinking to ruin their lives. They would ask people to sign pledges to ban alcohol, with acting and encourage people to drink less or to not drink at all. In some cases, women would even destroy alcohol. Some thought this was because society isn't welcoming to every person in the U.S. The 1830s also marked the start of the abolition and suffrage movement, with the creation of an American Anti-Slavery Society, which is an organization that wanted to stop immoral practices of slavery and support from northern African American communities. The North soon became a bastion for the abolition movement, and northern congressmen constantly fought for abolition-related legislation in Congress with the South. Despite setbacks, the abolition movement, led by William Lloyd Garrison, was able to spread ideal of free and equal rights for blacks and women, kicking off the suffrage movement. Speakers such as Frederick Douglass, an escaped slave who educated himself to become one of the most influential abolitionists, and books like Uncle Tom's Cabin, which exposed the cruel reality of slavery, pushed the abolition movement to its peak. African Americans were able to share a class with whites in some cases, with the influential movement changing people's minds. Finally, in the 1848 Seneca Falls Convention, female abolitionists organized the first suffrage movement ever and opened the long journey of women's suffrage. However, abolitionists only faced more setbacks in the 1850s, dividing America and lead the country into a civil war. While some wanted to spread their ideals in the society, some just wanted to be earnest workers who wanted to earn salary for their family. With the Industrial Revolution, however, workers started to work together in factories. With harsh working conditions such as grueling working hours and no insurance, workers started to form a small group called labor unions and organize strikes to protest whenever workers received an unfair pay cut or a torturing working schedule. Some corporate businessmen try to make unions illegal. However, the decision Commonwealth versus Hunt proclaimed labor unions legal and protected rights for workers to strike. But labor laws were still very biased towards corporate businessmen. Still, laborers, including the mill girls of Lowell, who are desperate for economic independence and fled from their family to work in Lowell, they protested and striked in response to pay cuts to show corporates they deserve rights and advocated for a 10-hour workday. Although the efforts failed and some workers lost their job and were intentionally declined in job offers as revenge, the girls keep on fighting for a reasonable salary and a 10-hour workday for our workers. One of the most notable mill girls are Sarah Bagley, who traveled across country to establish unions advocating for a 10-hour workday and defied expectations to become America's first female telegraph operator. Overall, the reforms in this era changed the landscape of society drastically and brought the world we knew today. Without the brave men and women who fight for their own rights, we would not have restored our morals in society and have such a free and equal society today. Thank you for watching. We could see you next time.